Alright. That was actually pretty fun, so here's hoping the streak continues. Oh, hey, Starpy. Hey! Oh. Well, Marble Madness. Yeah, we'll see in a second. So, yeah. I had Marble Madness as a kid, and I freaking love this game. But it's on Game Boy Color, so it's gonna be awful. Like, the music and the graphics, and that's not what I meant. Come on. Okay, I guess that is gonna be how this is going to go. Oh yes, and the fact that the screen is gonna be so much smaller than what I'm used to. So yes, I had this on the NES since I was a kid. Never actually made it past the silly race. I think maybe once or twice in my life I was able to see the ultimate race, but... yeah, so we're gonna go with one legit attempt at getting through the game. Then we're gonna go ahead and save state our way through. So those are the Marble Eaters. If you let them land on you, they will eat you, and that'll be that. Come on, stop bouncing off the... a little bit extra time there, but still worth it to go down this shortcut path, even if it is a bit harder. Hey, now. Oh well, doesn't much matter. And then we have the ice path here, which you can't... well, apparently in this Game Boy Color version you can control yourself a little bit better than you could on the original NES version. But yeah, all of the iconic music has been butchered. But there's no real surprise there. Sounds like they took the game and stripped away 75% of it and, like, remade it on one of those kids' xylophones and those tiny little kids' toy pianos. Okay, remember before how I mentioned I was basically always able to get to the silly race? We're... yeah, nowhere near. And yet, we made it to first place. Time out, just one moment. So, yeah. Over on NES version, the high score is 52,500. That's the default programmed in high score. So apparently they did not have much faith in people to be able to get through any more than 3 stages of this game. So let's just go ahead and save state through. I think that says that the developers of this game were not able to beat more than the first 3 stages or so on their own. Or if they did it incredibly slowly. Okay, so yes, the black ball will try and block your progress. And now that we're actually going through the entire game, we'll be able to take a look at and describe all of the various enemies which exist in the game. There are quite a few of them. So I guess this is a passable version of Marble Madness. It's not among the worst of the worst. As this being an original arcade game, and I do apologize for the excessive save stating here, but it's a little bit tough to really... No. Damn it. I think part of what it is that the timer is going way too damn fast. Like, in order to get to the end with any amount of time left on that timer, you have to be using the A button to, you know, speed boost yourself. But then there goes all your good control, and makes it impossible to finish with anything left on the timer. Quite surprised I did not crack the ball there. If you fall from too high a height, you will end up getting smashed. This is a slime dissolver. Different to the slime eater in that you just basically have to run over it and it will dissolve the ball, costing you lots of time. There, that's what happens with that. And then the little whisk broom shows up and... Okay, yes, the boundaries of where the walls are and what you bounce off of are really quite terrible in this version. Okay, let's try for the shortcut. Just have to get past the little wave-making machine, and you're good. Your momentum just does not feel right. And we have the little vacuums. It will suck you in and destroy you in that method. The little catapult, which leads to one of the first choices the game offers you. You can go down this way for the shortcut, which is more difficult. Or you can go up this way for the long way. Since we are now more than halfway through the game, though, we're definitely in the difficult area. Come on. There. So yes, if you take the other path, you do have to use the speed boost and the little pistons to send yourself flying. I don't like the way momentum works in this game. It does not feel like I am moving as I should. It's like momentum is not working at a set rate. It's working in incredibly weird ways, like how much you speed up and slow down doesn't seem to be exactly in proportion to how much you're pressing the buttons or which direction you happen to be going in. Not sure what you mean by that, Alucard, by it looks like a trackball to you. Like... Yeah, the original Marble Madness did have a trackball for a controller, but the Game Boy Color certainly did not, and the physics for it being a trackball were still better than they were for this version, and good lord. Okay, I'm going to be silent for a while, and we're going to jump cut straight to... Oh. Yeah. That will happen. So never mind the jump cut. I don't even know if we're going to make it past this stage. It's goddamn ridiculous. Like, at this point, I can now regularly get to the end of the game in the NES version by save-stating my way through. This version is giving me a lot of problems. Okay, yeah, no. There is 0 chance of me beating the silly race in 20 seconds. Usually at this point I have like 50 seconds left in the NES version. So maybe we'll just jump over to the NES version and show that for a little while. Come on, really? Oh, it just is incredibly stupidly specific with the location of the things. And, you know, the terrible controls not helping in the least. Okay, yeah, at this point we are spending more time per thing than we are getting time back. Because, you know, these things have like a half-pixel hitbox for squishing them. And of course, getting out is going to be a bitch and a half. Wow. This should not be this hard. Of course. Maybe we'll just go play some Super Monkey Ball 2. That is the ideal rolling a ball thing around game. Does not get better than that particular game. Hey. Damn it. Okay, now we're going back here. Round the corner, thank you. Well, it wasn't totally intentional, but yeah, that works. And then we have these little bird things. If you touch them once, you die. Yeah, and that is the end of that. Okay, so yes, this has been Marble Madness. I was expecting just bad graphics and bad music. I was not expecting a next to impossible to beat version of this game on top of that. Okay, let's do this up proper. Still can't actually beat this, you know, without any save stating, but... yeah, going off the bottom of the screen is a thing that will happen in the first stage, and people who are absolute experts at the game can play that way. They can play so far off the bottom of the screen that it basically never catches up to them. And that's how they get the incredible times, like beating this game in, I don't know, I think it's like 3.5 minutes or something. And why not? Let's show off him. Yeah, one of them. Very fun. Yeah, no. Yeah, I've mentioned that it is still rather hard to actually do well at this, but at least the controls are behaving like I think they should, rather than basically completely disobeying me. Sudden wand. And of course, in the speed runs, the ones that go for the absolute fastest times, they try to avoid those wands since they don't need the extra time, and that extra time, you know, in real time of hitting the wands, that does count. So they don't like hitting those wands. It's like 3 or 4 seconds added to their time that would otherwise not be there. Ah, come on, we can make it around a corner. And the dissolvers make that lovely dissolving noise. Now, I didn't actually notice, but I think that the amounts of times added, or the amount of time added per stage, seems like it's more here than it is in the Game Boy Color version, but I could be completely off on that. Might just be that, you know, because we are finishing so much faster in every stage, that maybe they are adding the exact same amount of time, and I was just doing that much horribly more worse that it seems like it was less time added in the color version, or Game Boy Color version, yeah. Of course, now I'm really curious if there is a Game Boy version of this game as well. I'll have to look into that. Wow. Okay, we can go a straight line without falling, yes. We are not drunk. I'm not sure how a marble could be drunk in the first place, but sure. And, yeah, extra time. Thanks for that. And yeah, here we are, finishing with 67 seconds. It's just night and day compared to the Game Boy Color version. And yeah, that's 20 seconds added here on the silly race. That's how much time we got there as well, so yeah. It's just that it was totally and utterly ridiculous in the Game Boy Color version. Just the controls made it that much more impossible. Maybe the timer ticked down that much faster. You know, I don't even care. I have extra time. I have loads of extra time. Oh, and now I have even more extra time. Oh, well, that's not good. Okay, so we didn't get the wand again, but that's okay. Anyways, the thing I totally forgot to mention because I was all irritated by the terribleness. Here in the silly race, down is up and up is down, so where gravity would send you down a hill in any other race, in this one gravity sends you up a hill, and makes it hard to go down a hill. And then we get to the ultimate race and it's right back to normal, except with a lot of added cool things. Like the fact that right here in this initial jump, you do actually have to speed boost, otherwise you won't make it across. I mean, maybe you might get extra lucky, but it's really hard to make it across that jump without speed boosting, and it's really not that hard to do the speed boost, so yeah. And we have this bumpy patterned floor here. You know what, that's okay. We again have tons of extra time. This one you want to go straight. That was not straight down, come on. Straight down, and there will be no problems there. Okay, and then for the final little thing, we have moving platforms. We're gonna wait for it to be in the proper position, then head on around. And of course, falling sends you back to the beginning of the moving platform section, so you want to be careful with that. This section here is probably the hardest one. Couple little safe spots round and about that you can wait out and, you know, if you have the extra time. There we go, and that is that. That is the entire game of Marble Madness. Really would have preferred to show that only in the Game Boy Color version and not had to resort to coming to this NES version, but what are you gonna do? And that is a good high score, but only attained through save stating, and still really nothing compared to what the experts can do with their insanely fast and perfect runs of that for... Yeah, right. Well, yeah. Forgot to... Yes, well, shouldn't have closed the game before finishing speaking, but sure. Anyways, that's been Marble Madness, and hopefully there are not any other versions of Marble Madness we'll be finding.